Sarah Chen stared at the massive screen in the underground command center. The message had arrived exactly 12 minutes ago, and she still couldn't believe what she was seeing. The alien face on the screen looked like a cross between a shark and a snake, with silver scales and too many teeth. "People of Earth," the creature said in perfect English. "I am Admiral Zexai of the Vraxian Empire. I speak for the Galactic Confederation, representing 847 civilized species across this galaxy." Sarah's hands shook as she gripped her coffee cup. Around her, dozens of technicians and military officers watched in complete silence. Outside this bunker, hidden deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, the whole world was seeing this message. Every television, every phone, every computer screen on Earth was broadcasting the same thing. "Your species has committed crimes against galactic law," the alien continued. "You have expanded beyond your home system without permission. You have refused to join the Confederation. Oh, seriously, you possess dangerous mental defenses that threaten our peaceful way of life." Dr. James Martinez, sitting next to Sarah, whispered, "Mental defenses? What's he talking about?" Sarah shook her head. She had no idea. Humans didn't even know other intelligent life existed until this moment. How could they have committed crimes against laws they'd never heard of? The alien's voice grew colder. "Therefore, the Galactic Confederation has voted. Earth will surrender completely within 36 of your hours, or we will destroy your planet and every human on it. This is not a negotiation. This is your final warning." The screen went black. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then everyone started talking at once. Phones rang. People shouted questions. Someone was crying in the corner. "Quiet." Sarah stood up. As director of Earth's Unified Defense Council, she had planned for many disasters. Asteroid impacts, nuclear war, climate collapse, but not this. Never this. General Patrick Stone, a big man with gray hair and angry eyes, slammed his fist on the table. 36 hours? They give us a day and a half to surrender our entire planet? Who do these fish faces think they are? "Sir," Lieutenant Kim spoke up from her station, "we're getting reports from observatories around the world. They're seeing something near Pluto, something big." Sarah's blood went cold. "Put it on screen." The main display changed to show a telescope image from the Hubble Observatory. At first, Sarah saw only stars. Then she noticed the shadows. Dark shapes blocking out the starlight, ships, hundreds of them. "Some looked as big as cities. How many?" she asked. "We count at least 300 ships so far, ma'am, and more are appearing every few minutes." Sarah closed her eyes. 300 ships. Each one probably bigger than anything humanity had ever built. Earth's entire space fleet consisted of 12 military vessels and maybe 50 civilian ships. Most of those were just cargo haulers that ran supplies to the Mars colonies. "Ma'am," another technician called out, "we're getting a signal from the moon base. They say the aliens have ships there too. Big ones, just sitting in space, not moving." General Stone pulled Sarah aside. "What do we do? 36 hours isn't enough time to evacuate even one city, let alone the whole planet." Sarah looked around the room. These people were looking to her for answers. Earth's best and brightest minds, all waiting for her to come up with a miracle. The problem was she didn't have one. "Get me President Harrison on the line," she said, "and wake up everyone on the Security Council. I don't care what time it is in their countries." While her staff made the calls, Sarah walked over to the intelligence section. Colonel Rebecca Hayes was studying data on a computer screen, her face grim. "What do you have, Becky?" "I've been analyzing their broadcast signal. The aliens aren't just talking to us. They're scanning us. Every electronic device on Earth received their message simultaneously. That means they can access our entire communication network." Sarah felt sick. "They can see everything? Our military plans? Our defenses?" "Probably. But here's the weird part. The message was designed for human minds. The language patterns, the vocal tones, even the visual presentation. It's like they studied us for a long time before making this threat." "How long?" "Years, maybe decades. This wasn't a surprise attack. They've been planning this." Sarah's phone buzzed. President Harrison was on the line from Washington. She could hear the stress in his voice before he even spoke. "Sarah, please tell me you have some kind of plan. The whole world is panicking. We've got riots starting in major cities. People are trying to flee to underground shelters. Air traffic control is a nightmare. Mr. President, I need authorization to activate Project Damocles." Silence on the other end. Project Damocles was Earth's most classified military program. Only 5 people on the planet knew it existed. Sarah was one of them. Sarah, that project was designed for World War III scenarios, fighting other humans. These are aliens with technology we can't even understand. Sir, it's all we have. If we surrender, we become slaves. If we fight, we might die, but at least we die free. Another pause. Do it, full authorization. And Sarah, God help us all. The call ended. Sarah turned to General Stone. Pat, I need you to contact Admiral Foster on the Defiance. Tell him to prepare the fleet for combat operations. Sarah, our entire fleet is 12 ships. They have hundreds. I know the math, Pat, but we're not going down without a fight. The next few hours passed in a blur. Military bases around the world went to high alert. Hidden weapon systems came online for the first time. Satellites repositioned themselves. Deep space sensors activated. Dr. Martinez approached Sarah with a worried expression. I've been thinking about what the alien said. About us having mental defenses. I think I know what he meant. Explain. Most advanced species probably evolved telepathy, mind reading. That's how they control their populations and maintain peace. But humans never developed that ability. We're immune to mental control because we don't have the right brain structures. Sarah stared at him. You're saying they can read minds, but not ours? Exactly. To them, we're like a computer virus, something their mental networks can't process or control. That makes us dangerous to their whole way of life. So they want to kill us because we think differently, because we think privately. In a galaxy where everyone can read everyone else's thoughts, privacy is probably the ultimate weapon. Sarah laughed, but there was no humor in it. So they're going to destroy Earth because humans can keep secrets. It makes sense from their perspective. If word spreads that immunity to telepathy is possible, other species might try to develop it. Their whole civilization could collapse. Sarah looked at the countdown timer on the wall. 28 hours and 36 minutes until the deadline. Around the world, families were saying goodbye. Children were crying. People were praying to every god humanity had ever imagined. But in this bunker, buried deep under a mountain, Sarah Chen was planning for war. Because if the galaxy wanted Earth, they were going to have to take it. And humans had been perfecting the art of warfare for thousands of years. The aliens thought they were dealing with a typical primitive species. They had no idea they had just picked a fight with the most dangerous predators the galaxy had ever seen. Humans didn't just fight to win. They fought to destroy everything that threatened them. The galaxy was about to learn why Earth's children had conquered their own world through nothing but violence and determination, and why that same violence, when turned outward, could burn down civilizations that had stood for millions of years. The war was coming. And humanity was ready. Captain Marcus Reed watched the alien fleet through the bridge windows of the stealth destroyer Fury. The enemy ships hung in space like sleeping giants, their hulls gleaming silver against the starfield. Each one was bigger than anything humans had ever built. Some looked like cities floating in the void. 30 minutes until deadline, Lieutenant Sarah Park announced from her station. Around them, the bridge crew worked in tense silence. Everyone knew this might be their last half hour alive. Marcus had been hiding his ship behind one of Saturn's moons for the past 6 hours, watching the aliens position themselves for attack. The enemy clearly expected this to be easy. Their ships moved slowly, carelessly. They weren't even keeping proper formation. Captain Ensign Thompson called out, "We're receiving a transmission from Earth Command. Put it through." Admiral Foster's voice crackled over the speakers. "All units, this is Fleet Command. The deadline expires in 28 minutes. The aliens have rejected our surrender offer and demanded we prepare for immediate occupation. Rules of engagement are now weapons-free. Repeat, weapons-free. Project Damocles is authorized. Show them what happens when you threaten Earth." Marcus smiled grimly. Project Damocles. He'd trained for this scenario, but never thought he'd actually use it. The plan was simple. If Earth ever faced complete destruction, they would take as many enemies with them as possible. Number 1. Prepare the antimatter torpedoes. Commander Lisa Zhao nodded. "Torpedoes armed and ready, sir. We have target locks on 6 enemy vessels." Through the viewport, Marcus could see the alien ships beginning to move. They were forming up for an attack run on Earth. Intelligence estimates suggested each ship carried enough firepower to crack a planet. With hundreds of ships in the fleet, they could turn Earth into molten rock in minutes, but they had to get there first. "All stations, this is the captain. Today we find out if humanity deserves to survive. We're outnumbered. We're outgunned, but we have something they don't. We have anger. We have the fury of a species that has never backed down from a fight. Today we show the galaxy why humans conquered their own world. Fire all tubes. The Fury shuddered as 6 antimatter torpedoes launched from her forward tubes. The weapons accelerated rapidly, their drives pushing them to incredible speeds. Marcus counted seconds in his head. At this range, impact would come in 45 seconds. On the tactical display, he could see other human ships decloak across the solar system. The entire fleet was revealing itself simultaneously, launching everything they had at the alien formation. Incoming transmission from the alien flagship, Thompson reported. Let's hear it. The shark-faced alien admiral appeared on screen again. His expression had changed from confident to confused. Human vessels, you will stand down immediately. Your weapons cannot penetrate our shields. Surrender now and your deaths will be quick. Marcus leaned forward. This is Captain Marcus Reed of the Earth vessel Fury. We have a message for you and your Confederation friends. Humanity doesn't surrender. We adapt, we overcome, and we never ever forgive. The alien's eyes widened just as the first antimatter torpedo struck his flagship. The explosion lit up space like a newborn star. The alien vessel, over 10 kilometers long, simply vanished in a ball of pure energy. The blast was so bright that the Fury's sensors automatically dimmed to protect the crew's vision. Direct hit on Target 1, Zhao shouted. Target 2 is breaking apart. Target 3. My God, it's completely gone. Across the alien formation, similar explosions bloomed like deadly flowers. Human weapons, designed not just to damage but to utterly destroy, tore through shields that had never faced such concentrated violence. The aliens had built their defenses to stop energy beams and conventional missiles. They had no protection against pure antimatter. Sir, Park called out, we're detecting massive explosions near Jupiter. Admiral Martinez's task force is engaging the second alien fleet. Marcus switched the display to show the Jupiter engagement. Even at this distance, the flashes of light were visible. Each flash meant another alien ship dying, another few thousand aliens who would never threaten Earth again. Enemy ships are trying to retreat, Zhao reported. Should we pursue? Negative. Let them run. But make sure they remember this moment. Marcus opened a channel to all human vessels. All ships, this is Reed, target their engines. I want survivors. I want them to limp home and tell their friends what happened here. The next 20 minutes were a massacre. The alien fleet, designed for overwhelming primitive worlds quickly, had no answer for sustained combat against an enemy that refused to break. Human ships darted in and out of the formation like angry wasps, their weapons cutting through alien hulls like paper. The Defiance, Admiral Foster's flagship, rammed straight through an alien cruiser that was trying to escape. The human dreadnought's reinforced hull cut the enemy ship in half, spilling atmosphere and bodies into the void. Captain, Thompson's voice was filled with awe. We're getting reports from Earth. The orbital defense platforms are engaging the third alien fleet. They're winning, sir. Marcus allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. Earth's orbital weapons were the planet's last line of defense. Massive railgun platforms that could throw projectiles at significant fractions of light speed. The aliens probably had no idea such weapons existed until the first tungsten rod punched through their flagship at 2% of light speed. Sir, we're receiving a general transmission from the alien fleet. They're asking for mercy. Marcus's smile vanished. Put it on screen. A different alien appeared this time. This one looked more like a bird than a shark, with colorful feathers and large, frightened eyes. Human fleet. This is Sub-Admiral Crixtel of the Confederation Defense Force. We request immediate ceasefire. We are prepared to negotiate terms of withdrawal. No. Marcus cut the transmission short. He opened a channel to the entire alien fleet. Attention, Confederation forces. This is humanity's answer to your ultimatum. You came to our system to destroy our world, to kill our children, to end our species. Now you want mercy? He paused, looking around at his bridge crew. Every face showed the same cold determination. There will be no mercy. There will be no negotiation. You have 30 minutes to evacuate this system. Any ship still here after that deadline will be destroyed. And when you return to your Confederation, you tell them this. Earth is off limits. Humanity is off limits. Touch any human world, harm any human citizen, and we will burn your civilizations to ash. The alien's feathers ruffled in what might have been fear. You cannot threaten the entire Confederation. We have thousands of worlds, millions of ships. Then you'll need all of them, Marcus replied calmly. Because if you want Earth, you're going to have to come through every human in the galaxy. And I promise you, Admiral, we are very good at killing things that threaten us. The transmission ended. Marcus turned to his crew. Status report. Enemy fleet is in full retreat, Zhao reported. 70% casualties. The survivors are jumping to hyperspace as fast as they can. Earth orbital defenses report complete victory, Park added. All attacking ships destroyed or fled. Casualties are minimal. Marcus nodded. Get me Admiral Foster. The Admiral's face appeared on screen, grinning broadly. Marcus, you magnificent bastard. Did you see those alien ships run? I don't think they've ever faced anyone who fought back before. It's not over, Admiral. This was just the first wave. They'll be back with more ships, better weapons. Foster's grin faded. Let them come. We've proven something today. We've proven that humans don't roll over and die when threatened. We fight, and we win. Marcus looked out at the debris field that had once been an alien invasion fleet. Pieces of hull metal drifted past the Fury's windows, still glowing from the heat of battle. Somewhere in that wreckage were the remains of beings who had traveled across the galaxy to destroy Earth. Now they were space dust, a warning to anyone else who might threaten humanity's home. Mr. Park, set course for Earth. We have a war to plan. The Fury turned toward home, leaving behind the first battlefield in what would become humanity's campaign to teach the galaxy a simple lesson. Never threaten a species that had spent its entire existence learning how to kill efficiently. The aliens had wanted a quick extermination. Instead, they had awakened something that would haunt their nightmares for generations to come. Admiral Lisa Kozlov stood on the bridge of the dreadnought Ragnarok, watching an entire alien world burn beneath her. The planet Thraxis Prime had been a beautiful place just 6 hours ago. Green continents, blue oceans, silver cities that sparkled like jewels. Now columns of smoke rose from a dozen impact craters, where human kinetic bombardment rounds had struck. Admiral, Commander Torres reported from the weapons station. All primary targets have been neutralized. The planet's defense grid is down. Their orbital shipyards are destroyed. No ships escaped. Lisa nodded coldly. 3 months had passed since the failed alien invasion of Earth. 3 months since humanity had decided to show the galaxy what real war looked like. The Thraxii had been one of the species that voted to destroy Earth. Now they were learning the price of that decision. Any surrender broadcast from the surface? Several, ma'am. The planetary government is begging for mercy. They're offering complete submission and tribute payments. Denied. Continue bombardment of military installations. Then we move to the industrial targets. Torres hesitated. Ma'am, intelligence reports indicate some of those facilities are in populated areas. Lisa turned to face her crew. She could see the uncertainty in their faces. Before the war, they had been protectors, defenders of humanity. Now they were something else entirely, something the galaxy had forced them to become. Commander, the Thraxii government voted to exterminate every human child on Earth. They sent 300 ships to turn our world into molten rock. Did they worry about civilian casualties then? No, ma'am. Then why should we? The bombardment continued. From orbit, Lisa watched as city after city went dark. The Thraxii had been a peaceful trading species for over 10,000 years. They had no experience with total war, no understanding of what it meant to face an enemy that fought without mercy or restraint. Humanity had been teaching the galaxy that lesson for 3 months now. Admiral, we're receiving a priority transmission from Earth Command. Put it through. President Harrison's face appeared on the main screen. Behind him, Lisa could see the rebuilt war room deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. The president looked older than he had 3 months ago. The weight of commanding a species at war had aged him visibly. Admiral Kozlov, report on Operation Retribution. Thraxis Prime is pacified, Mr. President. Their fleet is destroyed. Their orbital infrastructure is rubble. Industrial capacity reduced by 80%. Population has surrendered unconditionally. Excellent. What's our next target? Lisa pulled up a star chart showing the local sector. Red markers indicated worlds that had participated in the invasion. Yellow markers showed neutral planets. Green markers were the few species that had voted against the attack on Earth. The Zephyrian Republic, sir. 3 worlds, significant industrial base. They contributed 47 ships to the invasion fleet. Approved. Lisa, I need those worlds taken fast. Our intelligence network reports the Confederation is gathering a new fleet. Something big. We need to destroy as many member worlds as possible before they can mount another attack. Lisa studied the president's face. The man who had once spoken of peace and diplomacy was now planning the destruction of entire civilizations. The war had changed them all. Sir, may I ask about the diplomatic situation? Are any species attempting to negotiate peace? Harrison's expression grew darker. 17 species have attempted contact through neutral channels. They want to discuss terms for ending the war. And our response? The same response we've given every time. Total surrender of the Confederation, complete disarmament, and war crimes trials for every government that voted to attack Earth. Anything less is unacceptable. The transmission ended. Lisa turned back to the tactical display. The war had started with aliens threatening to destroy one human world. Now humanity was systematically dismantling an entire galactic civilization, one planet at a time. Commander Torres, prepare the fleet for hyperspace jump. Set course for Zephyrian space. Yes, ma'am. Admiral, the crew is asking about shore leave. It's been 6 weeks since we've seen Earth. Lisa almost laughed. Shore leave. The concept seemed absurd now. How could they return to peaceful Earth after what they had done? How could they walk among civilians who still believed in mercy and restraint? Shore leave is postponed indefinitely. This crew has work to do. The Ragnarok and her escort ships jumped to hyperspace, leaving Thrax's prime burning behind them. Within hours, they would emerge in Zephyrian space to begin the cycle again. Attack without warning. Destroy everything that could resist. Accept only total surrender. 2 days later, Lisa stood on the same bridge watching the Zephyrian capital world die. The planet's famous crystal cities, architectural marvels that had taken centuries to grow, were now radioactive craters. The Zephyrians had tried to surrender after the first bombardment, but humanity's terms were non-negotiable. Complete disarmament, total submission, war crimes trials for their leadership. The Zephyrian government had refused, hoping their defensive fleet could drive off the human attackers. They had been wrong. Admiral, Lieutenant Chen reported from communications. We're intercepting panic broadcasts across Confederation space. Multiple species are recalling their fleets to defend their homeworlds. The Yelthari have withdrawn from 3 sectors. The Belvari Empire is reportedly building massive fortifications around their core systems. Lisa smiled grimly. Fear was spreading faster than human fleets could travel. Good. Terror was a weapon, and humanity was wielding it with surgical precision. Ma'am, we're also detecting something else. Long-range sensors are picking up massive fleet movements near the galactic core. It looks like the Confederation is assembling everything they have for one final push. How many ships? Preliminary count suggests over 5,000 vessels, ma'am. Maybe more. Lisa felt a moment of doubt. 5,000 ships was 10 times larger than the force that had initially attacked Earth. Even with humanity's technological advantages, those odds were sobering. Then she remembered the images from Earth after the first attack, the burned orbital stations, the crater where New Geneva had been, the 3 million humans who had died in the opening bombardment. Her doubt vanished, replaced by cold fury. Send a message to Earth Command. Tell them we need every available ship moved to the front lines and contact Captain Reed on the Fury. I want his stealth group to begin deep reconnaissance of Confederation space. Ma'am, what about the remaining Zephyrian worlds? Lisa looked at the tactical display. 3 more planets remained in Zephyrian space, each one populated by billions of beings who had never personally threatened Earth, but whose government had sent ships to destroy humanity's home. Bombardment from orbit. No ground assault necessary. We don't have time for a prolonged siege. Admiral, that's 15 billion civilians. Lisa turned to face Torres. The young commander's face was pale, his hands shaking slightly. He was remembering what they used to be, what they used to believe in. Commander, in 3 months humanity has gone from a single-world species to a galactic superpower. We've done this by being more ruthless than anyone expects. more violent than anyone can imagine. The moment we show mercy, the moment we hesitate, they'll unite against us and finish what they started. She gestured to the main screen where Zephyrian cities continued to burn. These people chose their government. That government chose to attack Earth. Now they live with the consequences, or they don't. The bombardment of the remaining Zephyrian worlds took 18 hours. When it was finished, the Zephyrian Republic existed only in history books. An entire civilization, spanning multiple worlds and home to billions of beings, had been reduced to radioactive ash in less than a week. Set course for the Andorian Collective, Lisa ordered. We have 12 more species to visit, before the Confederation can mount their counterattack. As the Ragnarok jumped to hyperspace, Lisa reflected on what humanity had become. They had been peaceful explorers once, scientists and dreamers who reached for the stars with hope in their hearts. The galaxy had burned that hope out of them. In its place was something harder, something colder, something that would not stop until every threat to humanity was eliminated forever. The aliens had wanted a quick extermination of a primitive species. Instead, they had created the most efficient killing machine the galaxy had ever seen, and that machine was just getting started. President Elena Vasquez stood before the rebuilt United Nations Assembly, looking out at representatives from every nation on Earth. Behind her, a massive display showed the current state of the war. Red zones marked conquered Confederation territory. Blue zones showed remaining enemy strongholds. The red zones were growing larger every day. My fellow humans, Elena began, her voice carrying to every corner of the hall and to billions watching around the world. 6 months ago, the Galactic Confederation declared war on Earth. They demanded our surrender. They threatened to destroy our world and exterminate our species. The assembly was silent. Every person in the room had lost someone in the war. Every family on Earth had been touched by the conflict. Today I stand before you to report that 17 Confederation member species have been completely defeated. Their worlds are under human control. Their fleets are destroyed. Their governments have surrendered unconditionally. A few scattered claps echoed through the hall, but most people remained quiet. Victory no longer brought celebration. It only brought the knowledge that more fighting lay ahead. However, Elena continued, our intelligence networks report that the remaining Confederation species are gathering their forces for one final assault. Our agents estimate they have assembled over 8,000 ships for this attack, the largest fleet in galactic history. Now there were murmurs of concern. 8,000 ships was more than humanity had faced in all previous battles combined. They believe that overwhelming numbers will succeed where technology and tactics have failed. They think that if they throw enough ships at us, some will get through to Earth. Elena's voice grew harder. They are wrong. She turned to gesture at the display behind her. General Stone, show them what we've been building. The screen changed to show images from shipyards around the solar system. Massive construction facilities that had been working non-stop for 6 months. Elena heard gasps from the assembly as they saw the scale of humanity's war production. Operation Prometheus has produced 400 new warships, Elena announced. Each one incorporating technology captured from defeated alien civilizations. Each one designed with a single purpose, to end this war permanently. The images showed sleek destroyers armed with weapons that could crack moons, dreadnoughts with armor made from materials that didn't exist 6 months ago, carriers launching fighter craft that moved faster than anything in the galaxy. But ships alone will not win this war, Elena continued. We need something more. Something that will convince every species in the galaxy that threatening humanity is a mistake they will only make once. She paused, letting the weight of her words sink in. I am therefore authorizing Operation Ragnarok. Our forces will not wait for the Confederation fleet to attack Earth. We will take the war to them. We will strike at the heart of their civilization. And we will end this conflict in a way that ensures it never happens again. General Harrison Stone stepped forward. The old soldier looked tired but determined. Madam President, Operation Ragnarok will require the deployment of our entire fleet. Earth will be left with minimal defenses. Earth defended itself once with minimal defenses, General. Our orbital platforms and ground-based weapons proved adequate then. They will be adequate now. Elena turned back to the assembly. Ladies and gentlemen, I will not lie to you. Operation Ragnarok is dangerous. We are betting everything on one massive offensive. If we fail, Earth will be defenseless when the survivors come for revenge. She stood straighter. But if we succeed, the galaxy will learn a lesson that will echo through history. The lesson is simple: never threaten humanity's children. 3 weeks later, Admiral Marcus Reed stood on the bridge of his new flagship, the super dreadnought Vengeance. Around him, the largest fleet humanity had ever assembled prepared for the final battle. 450 ships of various sizes carrying the hopes and fury of an entire species. Admiral, Captain Kim reported from the navigation station. All ships report ready for hyperspace jump. Course is laid in for the Vraxian system. Marcus nodded. The Vraxian system was the capital of the alien empire that had started this war, the home of Admiral HFY, who had delivered the ultimatum that began humanity's campaign of destruction. It was time to finish what he had started. Admiral, Commander Torres called from communications. We're receiving the final intelligence update from our spy networks. Put it on screen. Dr. Sarah Chen appeared on the display, broadcasting from Earth. The woman who had led humanity's initial defense now commanded the largest intelligence operation in galactic history. Marcus, final enemy strength is confirmed at 8,200 ships. They're gathered in 3 main fleets positioned around the galactic core. The largest concentration is defending the Vraxian home system. What about civilians? Massive evacuation efforts are underway across Confederation space. They're moving non-combatants to protected systems. Intelligence suggests they know this battle will determine the outcome of the war. Marcus studied the tactical data. 8,000 ships against 400. 20-to-1 odds. Under normal circumstances, it would be suicide to attack with such a disadvantage. But these weren't normal circumstances. Humanity had been fighting impossible odds since the war began, and winning through superior technology, tactics, and sheer bloody-minded determination. Sarah, what's the status of our secret weapon? Dr. Chen smiled grimly. Project Damocles Mark II is ready for deployment. The Confederation has no idea what's coming. The transmission ended. Marcus turned to address his bridge crew and through them the entire fleet. All hands, this is Admiral Reed. In 1 hour we will jump into the heart of enemy territory. We will face the largest fleet ever assembled in galactic history. Many of us will not return home. He paused, looking around at the faces of his crew. These were people who had seen their friends die in the opening attack on Earth, who had spent 6 months fighting across the galaxy, growing harder and more ruthless with each battle. But those who do return will carry with them the knowledge that humanity has won the greatest victory in our species' history. We will have proven that Earth's children cannot be threatened with extinction. We will have shown the galaxy that we are not prey, we are predators. The crew responded with a cheer that echoed through the ship's corridors. Similar cheers were rising from 449 other vessels, as humanity's warriors prepared for the battle that would decide their species' fate. All ships, prepare for hyperspace jump. Target Vraxian Prime. The fleet disappeared in flashes of light, carrying with them the concentrated fury of a species that had learned to fight by destroying everything that threatened them. When they emerged in the Vraxian system 1 hour later, they found the enemy waiting for them, 8,000 alien ships in perfect formation, ready to defend their capital world. The ships ranged from small frigates to massive super dreadnoughts that dwarfed anything humanity had built. Admiral, Torres reported, the enemy is hailing us. Put it through. The familiar face of Admiral HFY appeared on screen. The alien leader looked older than he had 9 months ago. The war had aged him too. Admiral Reed, I had hoped we would meet under different circumstances. Surrender now and your fleet will be treated according to the laws of warfare. Marcus smiled coldly. Admiral HFY, you started this war by threatening to exterminate my species. Now you want to discuss the laws of warfare? The Confederation fights to preserve galactic civilization. You fight only to destroy. No, Marcus replied quietly. We fight to survive. And we're very good at it. He cut the transmission and turned to his weapons officer. Deploy Project Damocles Mark II. Hidden among the human fleet, specially modified cargo ships began releasing their payloads. Thousands of small objects that looked like space debris but were actually sophisticated weapon systems. Each one was designed to hide among the wreckage of battle until activated by remote signal. All ships, Marcus announced, commence attack. Show them what happens when you threaten Earth. The final battle for the galaxy's future began with humanity's 400 ships charging straight into the teeth of an enemy force 20 times their size. To any outside observer, it looked like mass suicide. It was actually the beginning of the galaxy's new age, an age where humanity would never again have to worry about alien threats to their home world. General Harrison Wade walked through the ruins of the former Galactic Confederation capital, his boots crunching on broken crystal and twisted metal. 6 months had passed since the final battle at Vraxian Prime. 6 months since humanity had achieved the impossible and defeated a galactic empire with nothing but raw determination and an absolute refusal to accept defeat. The city around him had once been home to 50 million beings from hundreds of different species. Now it was a graveyard. Massive towers lay collapsed across wide boulevards. The famous Crystal Palace, seat of Confederation government for 10,000 years, was now a pile of glittering rubble. General, Colonel Martinez jogged up beside him. The last resistance pocket has surrendered. The planetary government is requesting an audience. Harrison nodded. Where are they? The old Senate building. What's left of it? They walked through streets lined with alien architecture. Beautiful buildings that showed artistic traditions spanning millennia, all of it damaged or destroyed by human bombardment. Harrison felt no guilt about the destruction. These beings had voted to exterminate his species. This was justice. The Senate building had been magnificent once, a soaring dome of living crystal that changed colors with the light. Now half the dome was missing, and the remaining crystal had turned gray and lifeless. Inside, Harrison found the last government of the Galactic Confederation. 12 beings from different species, representing the final worlds that had not yet surrendered. They huddled together on broken benches, their faces showing fear and exhaustion. I am General Harrison Wade, military governor of the occupied territories, he announced. I understand you wish to discuss surrender terms. An elderly alien that looked like a cross between an octopus and a tree stepped forward. Harrison recognized the species as Valdorian, one of the founding races of the Confederation. General Wade, I am Speaker Veltar. We wish to discuss ending hostilities between our peoples. Harrison almost smiled. Hostilities ended 6 months ago when your fleet was destroyed. What you're here to discuss is the terms of your species' continued existence. The aliens exchanged glances. None of them had ever imagined being in this position. For 10,000 years, the Confederation had been the dominant power in the galaxy. Now they were refugees begging for mercy from the species they had tried to exterminate. What are your terms? Veltar asked quietly. Harrison pulled out a tablet and began reading. Complete disarmament of all remaining Confederation military forces. Dissolution of the Confederation government. Each member species will govern only their home system under human oversight. War crimes trials for all leaders who voted to attack Earth. And if we refuse? Harrison looked up from the tablet. You don't get to refuse. These aren't negotiations. This is me telling you how things will work from now on. Another alien, this one resembling a giant bird, spoke up. You cannot govern an entire galaxy. Your species lacks the numbers, the resources, the experience. You're right, Harrison agreed. We don't want to govern the galaxy. We want to prevent anyone else from ever threatening Earth again. The human galactic empire will control strategic systems and trade routes. Local species can manage their own affairs as long as they don't interfere with human interests. Veltar's tentacles writhed nervously. And what happens to species that interfere? Harrison gestured toward the destroyed city around them. Look outside. You're sitting in what happens to species that interfere with human interests. The aliens fell silent. Through the broken windows, they could see human soldiers patrolling the streets. Ships bearing Earth's flag controlled the orbital space. The most powerful civilization in galactic history had been reduced to a handful of frightened leaders sitting in a ruined building. There is one more thing, Harrison continued. Any species that maintains a military force larger than what's needed for local peacekeeping will be considered a threat to galactic stability. Threats to galactic stability will be eliminated. You're talking about permanent subjugation, the bird-like alien protested. Our peoples have been free for thousands of years. Your peoples are alive, Harrison replied coldly. 6 months ago, humanity was facing extinction. We adapted. We overcame. We survived. Now the galaxy is safe for our children and their children. That's what matters. He stood to leave. You have 24 hours to broadcast your surrender to all remaining Confederation worlds. Any system that doesn't comply will be visited by the human fleet. I think you know how those visits end. Harrison walked out of the ruined Senate building, leaving the alien leaders to contemplate their new reality. Outside, he found Admiral Lisa Kozlov waiting for him beside a human transport. "How did it go?" she asked. "As expected. They'll surrender. They don't have a choice," Lisa nodded. "Marcus sends his regards from the Outer Rim. The last 3 holdout systems have agreed to terms. The war is officially over." They stood together in the alien capital, 2 humans who had helped reshape the galaxy through violence and determination. Around them, the cleanup crews continued their work, removing debris and bodies from the final battlefield of a war that had lasted less than 2 years but changed everything. "Do you think we did the right thing?" Lisa asked quietly. Harrison considered the question. 2 years ago, he would have been horrified by what they had become. The systematic destruction of entire civilizations, the bombardment of populated worlds, the calculated use of terror as a weapon. But 2 years ago, his species had been facing extinction. "The right thing?" he repeated. The right thing was surviving. Everything else was just details. Above them, a human patrol ship passed overhead, its engines leaving contrails in the alien sky. On Earth, children were playing in parks that would have been radioactive craters if humanity had chosen differently. Colonies were being established on worlds that had once belonged to species who had voted for humanity's destruction. The galaxy was at peace now, not the false peace of the Confederation, maintained through mind control and subtle domination, but the real peace that came from having demonstrated the absolute futility of challenging human interests. Dr. Sarah Chen's voice came over Harrison's communicator. She was broadcasting from Earth, addressing the entire galaxy for the first time since the war ended. "People of the galaxy," she began, "the human empire wishes to make its position clear. We did not seek this war. We did not want to become your rulers, but when you threatened our home, you left us no choice." Harrison and Lisa listened as Sarah outlined the new galactic order: human oversight of major trade routes, strict limits on military buildup by alien species, regular inspections to ensure compliance. "We understand that many of you see us as conquerors and tyrants," Sarah continued. "Perhaps we are, but we are conquerors and tyrants who will ensure that never again will any species face the choice between extinction and submission. The galaxy is safer now because humanity fought back." The broadcast ended. Harrison looked up at the alien sky, where human ships moved between the stars like sharks patrolling their territory. Somewhere out there, alien children were learning new lessons, learning that humanity was not prey, learning that Earth's children were to be feared and respected, learning that sometimes the most dangerous enemy was not the strongest or the most advanced, but the one with absolutely nothing left to lose. "Come on," Harrison said to Lisa. "Let's go home. We have an empire to run." They boarded the transport and lifted off from the conquered capital. Below them, the ruins of the Galactic Confederation grew smaller until they were just scars on an alien landscape. Above them, the stars waited, full of worlds that would remember this war for as long as their civilization survived. The galaxy had declared war on Earth, expecting a quick victory over a primitive species. Instead, they had awakened something that would reshape galactic civilization forever. Humanity had answered their threat with such overwhelming violence that no species would ever again make the mistake of underestimating Earth's children. The age of human dominance had begun, and it would last as long as any species remembered what happened to those who threatened humanity's home.